marketing and the logos, I mean the emblem with the eagle, all of that, when did that actually start to change? How important do you think was the marketing? You're the style genius here, so I mean,
Well,
dependability is important, but image also.
the trademark goes back to like 1909, 1910. We don't know who did it. I wish I had that information. Barn Shield. Somebody did it in the factory. And of course, we've treasured that all our lives and protected it. Tried to make it an important part of all our visuals, and it's become that. But that wasn't an overnight thing. That's spanned a huge number of years. It wasn't like we suddenly discovered the importance of that. We just kept it going, and I think everybody finally discovered it.
Orange, black, white. Who invented those? The Harley Davidson
Somebody
colors.
in the racing department.
Racing. Yeah, that's where those colors came from. We still use them today. Orange, white, black.
As far as you're concerned, when was the real turning point for Harley Davidson? When did it become the Harley Davidson how we see it now?
There again, I don't think we can put a year on it, but I can tell you that when we bought the company back from AMF in 1981, we had a couple of tough years where we almost went under. But from 85 until today, we've been on a record run as far as our numbers have increased each year and our profits have increased. So the scale goes like this. So during that time period, a lot of people discovered motorcycling, and the rich and famous started riding them, and that gave us more impact, and movie stars started riding them, and the people discovered it. It became part of fashion photography and the whole thing. But while I'm saying that, I want to say the loyalists never abandoned us. So we now spread across all spectrums. I mean, the tradespeople as well as the bankers. I mean, we're the whole thing. And it doesn't matter who you are or what you are. If you're riding that motorcycle, people will stand and talk about that bike and not worry about what your economic status is, which is great.
Yeah, I've heard that Harley Davidson is kind of trying to stay away from the bad boy image now. Is that true?
I don't think so. I think it goes back to what my father was saying about we all have a little bit of rebel in us, and I think our customers enjoy that. It's part of being on the open road with the wind in your face and smelling the flowers and all the things that are happening around you from a nature perspective. It has a rebel attitude, and we enjoy it. It's fun.
Speaking of being on the open road, you guys have probably ridden all over the place, everywhere, every country, I imagine. What's the one ride that you remember the most special ride?
One we just got done with.
Yeah, I think
Tell us about it.
We left Milwaukee on August 10th, and it was Mom and Dad, my brother Michael, sister Karen, myself, and my brother-in-law Scott, Michael's girlfriend. My wife flew in and met us, and we had some good friends along with us, and we put on 4,800 miles. We rode out to Las Vegas, and then turned around and came back.
Cool.
But the ride out was really a special ride because it was primarily just the family, and we saw some spectacular scenery, and riding across this great country, the USA, on a Harley, you can't beat it.
What memories do each both of you have from when you were growing up, just like with your first bikes? It's like something special that like made it click and said, I want to do this too.
My first bike was in 1948, and it was a little Model S Harley Davidson single cylinder, and I have recollections of learning how to ride in the neighborhoods. My father took me out, and of course I was prepared for this day for years because my dad rode every day, So there was always a motorcycle in our garage at home, and I would go out there and understand what the controls were all about. So I was prepared for that day, and of course it was a high point in my life when I was able to receive my first bike. And then the other high point is when these guys learned how to ride. You know, and you can tell her about that.
And that was truly a high point in my life. Same experiences. I would see Dad come home from work every day on his motorcycle, and I thought it was the neatest thing. And one day he took us, and it was actually my brother and sister and I, out to a park, and he taught us how to ride. And I'll never forget when he stepped off the back of the motorcycle and it was just me and the handlebars and the motorcycle. I was grinning from ear to ear. I had goosebumps. And something really neat, because the tradition is continuing. Because yesterday I took a sidecar home and I gave my 4-year-old daughter her first motorcycle ride.
And she loved it.
And she loved it.
Yeah. One last question. We're here in Milwaukee. I mean, I'm from Milwaukee. This is so exciting for me. I can imagine for you, this must be so special being here 100 years later in Milwaukee. Just tell us about some of the sensations of this happening, and you must be thinking about your ancestors too and what they would think. Yeah?
A lot of thoughts about the original founders, and I know they're smiling down on us today and this weekend. For me, it's just such a proud feeling to be living their original dream and seeing all the people that they've affected with the product and so forth.
What bikes do you guys ride? Just those. What's your favorite bike?
We're both collectors. He has some very unusual motorcycles. I have a nice collection I've worked on for many years, and actually have designed a place to keep them in our area of our home. And so a lot of those are milestone motorcycles. I guess there's favorites from different eras. I don't know if I can name one.
It's hard.
I don't know if I can. And you ride different kinds of motorcycles. If you're on a 4,800 mile ride like we just completed, you need a lot of luggage and tour boxes and a comfortable seat, because you're on that thing for 8 hours a day. But if you just want to go down to the tavern, maybe you ride something with nothing on it.
Yeah.
That's a whole different deal.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.